Today, we're diving into a really fundamental question. What's the one thing that separates a life of struggle from a life of success? We're going to find the answer in a powerful story. A story about how a single thought can literally change everything.
So, let's just start with a question for you personally. Think about it. Is your mindset your greatest asset, or is it actually your biggest obstacle? Is it the thing that's lifting you up, or is it the one thing holding you back?
Well, the answer to that question might just be hidden in the story of a man who started with absolutely nothing. His journey is going to show us how the world inside our heads creates the world outside. So, let's get into it. All right, so to really get this, we have to start at the beginning. We have to understand the beggar's starting mindset. This was the reality he was completely trapped in. So, I want you to picture this scene. A super busy railway station, people rushing everywhere, and in the middle of it all is a beggar. Day in and day out, his entire life, his whole survival is built around just one single action, asking people for money. That's it. And this right here, this is the heart of the matter. You've got these two totally different ways of seeing the world. On one side, you have the beggar's mindset, which says, I have absolutely nothing to offer, so all I can do is ask. But on the other side, you have a completely different philosophy, one that believes real value comes from an exchange, from giving and taking.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because what happens when these two mindsets collide? Well, it all kicks off with a piece of advice from a businessman that becomes the catalyst for this huge change.
Okay, so picture it. One day, our beggar spots this really well-dressed man, clearly a businessman. And he's thinking, okay, this is my chance for a good handout. So he walks up to him, just like he's done thousands of times before.
But this time is completely different. The businessman doesn't just hand over some money. No. Instead, he gives him this powerful, almost world-shattering piece of feedback. He basically says, look, I'm a merchant. I operate on the principle of exchange. And if you have nothing to give, you have no right to ask. Whoa. This isn't just a no. It's a direct challenge to the beggar's entire identity.
And that single challenge, man, it just lights a fire. It forces him to take that first, absolutely crucial step away from a life of just taking and into a life of giving.
You know, those words didn't just go in one ear and out the other. They haunted him. For 2 straight days, he's just completely consumed by this one question. What could I possibly give? I mean, I'm a beggar.
And then he finds his answer. And it's not some grand, expensive gesture. It's actually really simple. He sees some flowers growing near the station, and right there, a new plan pops into his head. From now on, anytime someone gives him money, he's going to give them a flower in return. He's decided he's going to participate in the exchange.
And you won't believe what happened next. The effect was, well, it was instant. It was almost like magic. The second he starts giving something, he starts receiving more than ever before. People aren't just giving him charity now. They're happy to be part of this little transaction. They feel like they're getting something of value too. See, this wasn't just about flowers. This small shift in what he did started a massive shift in who he was. He starts to realize he's not just a beggar anymore. He's becoming a merchant.
So fast forward a bit. He's on the train doing his thing, and guess who he runs into? The very same businessman, the guy who gave him that life-changing advice. Only this time, our guy doesn't just ask for money. No way. He walks up to him with confidence and he makes an offer. Your money in exchange for one of my flowers.
And the businessman's reaction? Oh, it's perfect. He's not just impressed. He recognizes the huge shift that's happened. He doesn't see a beggar anymore. He sees a peer. He says, wow, this is amazing. Today, you've become a merchant just like me.
And that's it. That's the light bulb moment. Hearing those specific words from that man, it just clicks. Everything changes. He finally realizes the truth. People weren't giving him charity anymore. They were buying his flowers. He gets off that train and just yells it for the whole world to hear.
Okay, so the mindset has officially changed. And once that happens, well, his entire life follows suit. Let's take a look at the incredible results of this one little transformation.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's absolutely wild. On day 1, he's a beggar who only takes. By day 3, he's someone who gives a little something back. And then just 6 months later, he's a major flower merchant. The speed of that change is just staggering.
And here's where the story comes full circle. And it is so satisfying. They meet for a third time, but our guy is now a successful, well-dressed businessman himself. He's so transformed that the man who started this whole journey doesn't even recognize him.
He actually had to reintroduce himself as the beggar who learned life's greatest business lesson from him.
So what does this all boil down to? What's the secret sauce here? Well, it's this fundamental rule of success, this law of give and take. It's not just some business idea, it's a law of life. And even more critical is this: your thoughts, what you believe about yourself, literally create the reality you live in.
Okay, so this is a great story, but how do we actually use this? Well, it's pretty straightforward, really. First, you've got to change the story you're telling yourself, just like he did. When you do that, you build real self-respect because you realize we all have value to offer. And once you respect yourself, you finally give yourself permission to think bigger, to see yourself not just for who you are, but for who you could become.
And that, of course, brings it all right back to you. The beggar believed he had nothing to give, and for a long time, that was his reality. The moment he believed he was a merchant, he became one. So I guess the only question left is, what story is your mindset forcing you to believe about yourself? And is it maybe time to write a new one?